There's a feeling almost no one has anymore. It happened when you said goodbye to a friend on a summer evening, watched them ride off on their bike, and knew with total certainty that you had no way of reaching them until you saw them again. They were just gone, untraceable, somewhere in the world, living their evening, completely beyond your reach. And that was normal. That was every single day. This is what it felt like to be alive in the 1990s. Not the fashion, not the music, the times, feeling times of it. The particular texture of being a human being in that decade. Because the way a person experienced a single ordinary day back then created an inner life that was profoundly different. Let's step inside it. Start with the deepest one, the thing that colored everything. You were, for large parts of every day, completely unreachable, and so was everyone else. When you left your house, you dropped off the map. No one knew where you were. No one could interrupt you. If a friend wanted to find you, they'd call your home, and if you weren't there, that was the end of it. They'd reach an answering machine, a little box with a cassette tape inside, and leave a message you might not hear for hours. And if the power flickered, those messages were simply gone forever. Think about what that does to a mind. There was a kind of freedom in it that's hard to describe. Long stretches of the day that belonged only to you, where no one in the world could reach in and tap you on the shoulder. You were alone with your own thoughts by default, not by choice. Walking, waiting, riding in a car, those were empty spaces, and your mind just wandered into them. And there was a weight to it too. If you made plans to meet someone at 6 o'clock, you committed. There was no texting running 10 minutes late. You simply had to be there, or you'd leave them standing on a corner, both of you helpless. Your word was a physical thing. People kept it because they had to. And here's something almost extinct now. People knew how to times wait. Really wait. Waiting was woven into every part of life. And it shaped a particular kind of patience and a particular kind of longing. You took a photograph, and you had no idea if it was any good. You'd finish the whole roll of film, 24 shots, taken over weeks, drop it off, and wait days to get it back. When you finally opened that envelope, it was a genuine event. Little frozen moments you'd half forgotten, some blurry, some ruined, a few perfect. You couldn't delete and retake. You got what you got, and you treasured it. If your favorite show was on at 8, you were times there, times at 8. You couldn't pause it, you couldn't watch it later, miss it, and it was gone, maybe for months. So the whole household arranged itself around that moment. And there was something powerful in that everyone, everywhere, watching the same thing at the same time, together but in separate homes. Even hearing a song you loved meant waiting, sitting by the radio for hours, finger hovering over the record button, hoping to catch it, praying the DJ wouldn't talk over the intro. Waiting wasn't frustrating. It was just the price of everything, and it made the arrival of things feel enormous, which leads to a feeling that ran deeper in that world than almost any other. Missing people, truly missing them. When someone you cared about was far away, they were times far away. A friend who moved to another city, someone you had a crush on across the country. The distance was real, and it was felt. Long-distance phone calls cost real money, so they were short, rationed, precious. You'd think carefully about what to say because the clock was literally running. So people wrote letters. They sat down with a pen and poured out pages, then dropped them in a mailbox and waited a week, 2 weeks, for a reply. The anticipation of a letter arriving, recognizing the handwriting, tearing it open was its own kind of joy. The absence made people feel things fully. You couldn't dilute missing someone with 100 tiny check-ins. It built up. It ached. And when you finally saw them again, the reunion hit like a wave. And there's the mixtape, maybe the purest artifact of that emotional world. If you wanted to tell someone how you felt, you'd spend hours recording songs onto a cassette, one at a time, in real time, arranging them in the perfect order, timing them so they'd fit the side. Then you'd hand this fragile plastic thing to a person and say, without saying it, "This is what's inside me." It took effort. It took time. And that's exactly what made it mean something. And underneath all of it was a state of mind that's almost impossible to return to now. You spent your life not knowing things, and you were at peace with it. An argument at dinner about some fact who was in that movie, how far away a city was, could go unresolved for days. There was no way to instantly settle it. You'd shrug, argue a bit, and let it go. Curiosity had to simmer. If you wanted to know something real, you went to a library, walked among the shelves, and hunted for it in books. Knowledge was a place you traveled to, not a thing that appeared in your hand. You navigated by memory and paper maps, and sometimes you got lost, genuinely lost, on a road you didn't know, and you had to stop and ask a stranger for directions. You met people that way. You relied on them. There was a spaciousness in all that not knowing. Your mind wasn't full of everything at once. It had room. Empty afternoons where you were bored, really bored. And out of that boredom came daydreams, inventions, wandering thoughts with nowhere to be. The mind of a person in the 90s had vast open fields in it, unfilled, quiet. So picture that person on an ordinary evening. The film is off. The mixtape is playing. Side A. The window is open. And somewhere out there are the people they love unreachable until tomorrow. And that's all right. There's a letter half written on the desk. A question from earlier still unanswered. And it can stay that way. Nothing is buzzing. Nothing is pulling at them. They are simply times there, in that single moment, with their own slow thoughts and the quiet weight of a day that asked them to wait, to remember, to feel things all the way through. That was the texture of being alive then. A life measured in rolls of film and sides of tape, in letters and dial tones and long summer silences. A whole inner world built out of distance and patience and the enormous echoing space of not being reachable. It's a feeling that belonged entirely to that time, and the people who lived it carry it still a quiet memory of what it was like. Back when the evening was long, the world was wide, and you were, for a little while, wonderfully out of reach.